All right, welcome. Today we're diving into a food technology that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're talking about using the invisible power of sound waves to make our food safer, tastier, and even last longer.
So let me just ask you this. What if the next huge breakthrough in the food world wasn't some new superfood or a fancy chemical, but a sound? A frequency so high we can't even hear it, but one that has the power to totally transform the food we eat? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
You know, when we talk about ultrasound in food, it really splits into two different paths. On one hand, you've got low-intensity ultrasound. Think of it like a medical scan for your food. It's awesome for checking quality and just looking at what's going on inside. But the real game changer, and what we're focused on today, is high-intensity ultrasound. That's the powerhouse version that can physically change and improve the food itself.
Okay, so how on earth can sound actually change a physical object, like a piece of fruit? Well, the answer comes down to this one really powerful phenomenon. The secret ingredient here isn't an ingredient at all. It's called cavitation. And yes, you read that right. It's all about creating microscopic explosions.
Acoustic cavitation sounds super complicated, I know, but the idea is actually pretty straightforward. When you blast a liquid with these high-intensity sound waves, you create tiny microscopic bubbles. These little bubbles grow and then, and this is the key part, they violently collapse in on themselves. That tiny collapse is the engine driving this whole technology.
So let me walk you through it. First, the sound waves cause these rapid pressure changes in the liquid. This allows these tiny vapor bubbles to pop into existence and get bigger. But they can't last. They get unstable really fast and then bam, they implode with incredible force. And right at that point of collapse, that's where the magic happens. It unleashes this focused jet of energy, creating tiny hotspots with temperatures of thousands of degrees and insane amounts of pressure. It's like a tiny, perfectly controlled explosion. So we've got these microscopic energy blasts happening millions of times a second. It's really cool physics, but what does it actually do for the food on our plates? Let's take a look at the real-world applications, some of which you might already be benefiting from without even knowing it.
Because of that sheer physical force, ultrasound is a true multi-tool for food scientists. It is definitely not a one-trick pony. It can be used to improve food in a whole bunch of surprising ways.
For instance, it's amazing for extraction. Those tiny explosions can literally break open plant cells to release more flavor, more antioxidants, or more essential oils. They can also create unbelievably creamy and stable mixtures, which might be why your favorite salad dressing or plant-based milk doesn't separate anymore. It can even tenderize meat by physically disrupting those tough muscle fibers, which means you get a juicier steak.
And what about keeping food fresh? This is a huge deal. You see, traditional pasteurization uses a ton of heat, which can destroy delicate vitamins and flavors. But ultrasound is non-thermal. It can kill harmful microbes by just physically ripping their cell walls apart, all while preserving way more of the food's natural goodness. Now, it's important to remember, it's not quite a magic bullet on its own. For food safety, it works best when it's teamed up with a little bit of mild heat or pressure.
Of course, this technology isn't a silver bullet for everything, at least not yet. There's a real balance between its incredible potential and its current, real-world limitations. So let's get an honest look at both sides of the coin.
The advantages are pretty compelling, right? It keeps food quality high, it's more energy efficient, and it can mean we use fewer chemical solvents. But the limitations are also very real. Those sound waves don't travel very far into solid foods. It needs help to be a truly reliable safety tool. And right now, the industrial-scale equipment costs a fortune.
And that brings us to the rules and regulations. The good news is that for a lot of uses, like extraction, ultrasound is already generally recognized as safe, or GRAS, but it's still officially considered an emerging technology. That means food safety authorities around the world are still figuring out universal standards, especially when it comes to guaranteeing it kills all the bad stuff.
Okay, so with all of that in mind, where is this technology actually going? What does the future of sound wave processing look like on our dinner plates?
Well, there are a few key trends that are really pushing it forward. First, all of us are demanding more clean-label, minimally processed foods with fewer weird additives. Second, the massive boom in plant-based foods and health supplements needs super-efficient extraction methods, which is exactly what ultrasound is great at. And finally, some of the most exciting research is happening in these hybrid methods, combining ultrasound with other gentle techniques to get the best of all worlds.
Which all leads to this final, pretty fascinating question. As we all keep pushing for food that's healthier, more natural, and produced more sustainably, is it possible that the future of our food will be shaped not by more chemicals or more intense heat, but by the clean, powerful, and totally invisible force of sound.